The Kenny Wallace Show. What's old Herman going to talk about today? Ooh, the taboo topic. Rich kids in racing. How dare them kids come racing and their dads doesn't even make them work. They just born with $100 bills flying out their butt. Told that to Sterling Marlin one day. He started laughing. Let's break it down. All right. So we know the most taboo topic because there are wealthy people out there that go racing, and some make it work and some don't make it work. Some people are just extremely jealous that somebody has money and some doesn't. I've always been told, Herman, don't talk about politics, money, religion. Those are, there's an old saying that says, two things that come between friends, right? Money and women. One of the most famous race car drivers in the world told me that one. So let's go at it. Now, you're going to have your opinion. I'm going to have my opinion. And that's what the Kenny Wallace Show is all about. So let's give it a go right here. Okay. What does Dale Earnhardt Jr., Chase Elliott, Harrison Burton, and Kenny Wallace, what do we all have in common? What do we have in common? What does the most popular driver in NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt Jr., what do we have in common? Yeah, right. Rich kids, right? Me. My mom and dad didn't have any money. We didn't come from money. Dale Earnhardt Sr. didn't have any money. He didn't come from money. But the kids benefited from the mom and dads working their ass off all those years, right? So I think it's how you look at it. We all need to be careful saying, oh, well, that kid got there because he got money. Kenny Wallace is there because of his brother. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is there because of his ditty. Chase Elliott's there because of his ditty. Okay? So that's one example. But we might say, well, but I like Dale Jr. and he won. And hold on though. It was still served up right there. Look, it's right there. Dale Sr. said, kid, you want to race? Here's a late model stock. You and your buddy going down there. Made him work for it. Hey, I think the kid can drive. Let's put him in a Busch Grand National car. Hey, he can drive. Still, had somebody serve it up. Same with me, except mine was a little rougher, but I'll still say that if it was not for my brother Rusty, look, it's not a secret. I've told people it my whole life. I owe my brother Rusty everything. If it weren't for Rusty Wallace, I would have never made it in NASCAR. However, when I was around home here, I did do it all on my own. Yes, I did. It's right there for everybody to look at. 1986, I went into ASA all by myself. I got some of Rusty's sponsors, John Childs, Don Kern, and I made it to NASCAR. I made it to NASCAR because I went through ASA first. Dale Jr. went through late model stocks. Chase Elliott went through, late models. So it's all in what you want to believe, how you believe it. So-and-so is only there because of this. We can split those hairs all day long. Ken Griffey Jr. in baseball. Oh, the only reason Ken Griffey Jr. in baseball because of his dad, Ken Griffey Sr. See, we can play that game all day long. I got some dear friends that I roughed up early, and now I'm a little bit wiser, a little bit older. I think I'm a little more mature. Maybe not. But how about Brendan Gaughan? His dad owns South Point Casino. How about Brian Scott? My gosh. I mean, Brendan Gaughan, Brian Scott, they didn't need for anything. So here's the way I look at it. Okay, I've given you my disclaimer. I've given you my disclaimer. I saw a meme the other day. Let's break it down a little bit. Let's go to short track racing. I saw a meme the other day, and it had these kids dressed in nice shirts and the pink and the blue shorts and the flip flops, college kids, and it was a funny meme. It said kids waiting for their dads to unload their cars. It was funny because it was true in a lot of cases. But here's what I would say, okay? I would say a lot of it is to blame on the fathers, all right? Here, let's look at Joey Logano. Joey Logano's dad was his own worst enemy. I mean, Joey Logano is a great race car driver. He's a two-time champion. But Joey Logano does not get there unless his dad makes him a race car driver. So a lot of these rich kids blame the dad. Blame the dad. Don't be roughing the kid up. The dad wanted them to be where they're at. I'm pretty sure Joey Logano would have never been a race car driver if it wasn't for his dad. So, rich kids. Okay. So I told you who is rich. Everybody I just told you was rich, was helped along the way. I don't think it benefits anybody to stand on top of a mountain and go, I did it all myself. I had no help. Everybody got to have help. And as far as rich kids, I'll go with you. I'll meet you halfway. I'll meet you halfway. What is a rich kid? A rich kid is a kid that will not work on his race car, a kid that will not help unload, a kid that will not get in the shop, a kid that will not get his hands dirty. That's a rich kid. Okay. Now, those do aggravate me because I feel like if you're going to be a good race car driver, you should somewhat pay your dues. Now, let's go a step further. Is Kyle Larson a rich kid? I mean, his mom and dad said, here's a go-kart. Let's get you a ride. I mean, what is it that some of you want? Do you want a kid to do you want a kid to do everything on his own? I mean, my dear friend Nick Hoffman, he's not a rich kid, but you can say, oh, well, his dad builds his motors for him. You see what I'm saying? You could go on and on and on. So what is a rich kid? I once made a horrible comment about Brendan Gaughan. Well, he's rich. His dad owns South Point Casino. If racing don't work out for him, hell, he just go run the casino. Well, that was pretty rough for me. Let me kick my ass. Hey, can't you see hey, Herman, what are you doing? Can't you see I'm kicking my ass? I made a mistake. I called Brendan Gaughan on the phone. I said, Brendan, I'm so sorry. I was going through a tough time. I was bitter with myself. That's another thing about that kid, that rich kids. You're bitter with yourself. I was in a bitter time. Things weren't going good for me in NASCAR. I was busting my ass. I always got all my sponsors all by myself. I got to a point there where it was hard for me to get some. And here's a rich kid over here where Diddy's giving him money. And I was jealous. I was bitter. You see how this works? When you are true to yourself, it's much easier. But Brendan Gaughan, Brian Scott, these are wonderful people. They're good kids. Their dad taught them well. Joey Logano's a wonderful kid. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is an awesome kid. Chase Elliott, Harrison Burton. These are good people. I once asked Dale Earnhardt Jr., I said, I walked in his motorhome. It was Atlanta. I'll never forget it. And looked at him. I said, Dale Jr. I said, damn, you're famous. I just made the statement. I just said, Dale Jr., man, you're famous. His answer back to me was brilliant. Now, I know I've said this before on the Kenny Walsh Show, but for those of you who don't watch every show, here was Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s response. I can't help it. It was brilliant. You're right. He can't help it. What are we going to do? Shove him back up in his mama? So these kids that are born with successful fathers, they cannot help it. What do you want them to do? Hide in a hole because you're mad at them? So I would say that I've learned a lot along the way. When kids go racing, I mean, listen, we can. They're out there by the thousands. Okay, I already told you that I had help along the way from Brother Rusty. My dear friend, the kid I love so much, Justin Allgaier. Everybody knows that his mom and dad have done everything for him, but I love him. He's a wonderful kid. My buddy Kyle Steffens here in town. It just has destroyed his life. He's working, he's making it happen, but everybody around town got to remind him, oh, you're using Diddy's money. He's got this thing called clout chasing. I said, Kyle, what are you talking about? What is this clout chasing? Well, I'm on Daddy's money. I'm going to race to prove that I can do it. So I think everybody has a little bit of a chip on their shoulders. How do you make it? How do you get there? There's no rule book that says, all right, to be taken serious, you have to grow up poor. You can't get any sponsors. That's all bullshit. My brother Rusty, he worked his ass off. We all did. But, if it weren't for John Childs Tower, if it weren't for Don Kern. So even if your Diddy don't have any money, your money comes from somewhere. People tease me all the time. Herman got that NASCAR money. Well, that was something the fans started, and then I capitalized on it. What is NASCAR money? It's money I made in NASCAR, and now I'm spending it on my dirt car. But I can promise you this, that old dirt car don't run unless it's got sponsors. Because I grew up years ago listening to Roger Penske say, we don't race on Sunday unless we have sponsors. So there's other things called as, man, that kid's dad's got plumbing money. They got a big plumbing company. Man, that kid's dad's got a tree trimming company. And now the big one in dirt racing, you see these $1 million totems coming in, all that big trucking company money, big trucking company, oil drilling company. Do you see my point? Money comes from everywhere. Now, we're running into the rich kids renting, Keith Coons midgets, open wheel midgets for the Chili Bowl. And people get pissed about that. But I'm going to tell you, rich dads make for good racing. And here's why. Because if we don't have rich dads, Keith Coons doesn't exist. Yeah, he's got Toyota. But as you notice now, Keith Coons has a lot of employees. You give me money, I spread the money out. So rich kids, instead of them building a shop and them going through all this drama, getting a truck and trailer, hey, just give Keith Coons, 30 grand and you can run the Chili Bowl, whatever it is. Okay. It's way easier than building a shop, getting a truck and trailer and motors and cars. You want to run the Chili Bowl, just lease a midget. That's just the way it works. So as far as rich kids in racing, it is, you have to look it up in the dictionary. I believe all of us, what is a rich kid? Because I've already told you, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Chase Elliott, me, Harrison Burton, Joey Logano, we're all where we're at because of our Diddies or our brothers. Hermie Sadler, Elliott Sadler, dad's super wealthy, owns truck stops. Oh, they got truck stop money. So hopefully I've drilled this point home. Everybody comes from somewhere. Everybody got something. Now, as far as that old age, forever old, well, there's a lot of good talent out there. Herman, that's what bothers me. There's a lot of talent out there that'll never make it because they don't have money. Listen, that's life. That's life. Kid that goes to school gets made fun of because he can't afford lunch. What? Well, yeah, but these kids can afford their lunch because their mom and dad got money. Listen, all of us have paid it forward. We can't. We pay it forward as much as we can. If you're rich, if you're wealthy, and you've made it, be humble. And I believe that's what Chase Elliott, Dale Jr., Harrison Burton, Brendan Gaughan, Brian Scott, Justin Allgaier. The Sadler brothers, I think that's what they've all done. They've been humble, they've been blessed, and they've made more out of it. Diddy's got a little money. Give me the money, I go race it. Now I do better. Now I make money. And the objective is to keep the money going and then give it to other people. And that's what we do. I've given so much money out. I don't, geez, I'm delirious. My brother Rusty, oh my God, he's given so much money out. So the rich kid syndrome is completely diluted. Just think about it, okay? Next time you call somebody a rich kid, if he deserves it, then okay. If he's a smart ass and he don't help unload that car and he don't learn how to grind tires and he ain't putting that car on jack stands, that's a rich kid, okay? So I'm going to end you with this. Kenny Wallace's dictionary. What is a rich kid in racing? Here's what a rich kid is. It's a kid that sits on his ass and don't do nothing. That's a rich kid. If you're going to be a rich kid in racing, do something. Get dirty. Get your hands dirty on purpose to make yourself look good. All right, now, I think I've broken down. I think I've given you my opinion. So I know it's a taboo deal, but hey, I'm the real deal. I've seen it play out forever. Remember to respond right here. This taboo topic. How dare Ken Griffey Jr. play baseball? His dad had him. His mom and daddy had him. He shouldn't be able to play baseball because his daddy was a baseball player. It's ridiculous. Respond right here, okay? And remember now, we're in podcast form. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. You can go to work and listen to the Herminator. Run that mouth hole. Herman, run his mouth. I love you all. Have a great time. Until next time.